Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Urvashi and I work as a professional trainer and I provide trainings in content development technologies. Apart from that, I help candidates with interview preparation as well. Welcome to the 10th video of JavaScript of Let's Crack It with Urvashi series. In today's video, we are going to talk about hoisting and strict keyword in JavaScript. I know a lot of JavaScript developers have never heard about this keyword strict. No worries, I will tell you in detail about this as especially when you're working with vanilla JavaScript, plain JavaScript, strict keyword is very important. And apart from that, we'll see hoisting. Hoisting is very important, very theoretical or simple concept to understand. And we will see how practically we use it in our JavaScript. And this is important for your interview as well. So before we go to the video, don't forget to check out my interview preparation material. I've added the description below, so do check that out. Now let's get to the video. Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to discuss very important topic in JavaScript, that is hoisting and strict mode. So hoisting is moving declaration at the top of the current scope. That means, let's say I created a variable. So there's a standard procedure. So firstly we declare the variable, then we initialize the variable, and then we use the variable. So this is the standard procedure. Let's say for some reason I skipped the part of declaration of variable. So firstly I initialize the variable, then I use the variable, and then I declare the variable. So JavaScript automatically takes the declaration at the top of the current scope while executing the code. That means your declarations can be hosted at the top of the current scope of the variable. In JavaScript, a variable can be declared after it has been used. That means I'm going to use the variable first and then I'm going to declare it. But same thing doesn't work in the case of initialization. That means if a variable is declared, used, and then initialized, then that will give you undefined value. So only declarations are hoisted at the top, not the initialization. So this hoisting works only in the case of declaration. But definitely it is always a good practice to declare all the variables at the beginning of every scope. Definitely any reason you forgot to declare it, definitely after it is being used you can declare it. It will work fine. But we will definitely going to prefer that it's always a good or ideal practice that you always declare it, initialize it, and then use it. So let's see through the code how this hoisting works. So here I have HTML and the external JS file. So in hoisting, let me just create a variable x equal to 20. I will just going to say console.log of x, and then I'm going to execute this. So this is the ideal or the standard way that we use, that is going to give me 20 as the value. Let's say I initialized a variable. I use the variable and then I declared the variable. Let's say var y. So here I am initializing. Initializing is nothing but assigning a value. And here I am using the value. And here I am declaring the value. So here, if I execute, I will get the correct output here as well. So that means declarations are hosted at the top of the current scope. That means whenever this line of code will be executed, it will take this part and it is going to place it here and then execute it. That means declarations can be hosted. Now next thing comes, let's say I'm creating a variable. I'm using the variable and then I'm initializing its value. So here, firstly I did the declaration using the variable and then initialization. Okay. In this case, I will get undefined value. And it is very evident from here as well. Whenever we declare a value and not initialize it, that is what gives us the undefined value. That means initialization is never hoisted at the top of your current scope. Only declarations are hoisted. And this hoisting is working only in case of your JavaScript, that is with the var variable. If at the same time, if you start using let const, definitely we are going to see that part in ES6 in detail. So in case of var, that is your JavaScript, your hoisting works. If you are using the same variable with let const, then definitely this is not going to work. Even declaration doesn't work there. So it goes into temporal dead zone that we are going to see in ES6. But for now, understand if there is a variable declared with var keyword, So declaration can be hoisted, but initialization can never be hoisted. Initialization is nothing but assigning a value to a variable, and declaration is with the var keyword declaring a variable. So this is how hoisting works in JavaScript. Now, next set of important topic we have here is strict mode. Now, the strict mode allows us to execute particular piece of code in a strict manner. So as we know, JavaScript is a very loosely written language. So let's say I'm declaring a variable X, and then again I'm declaring another variable that is going to be X. So it never gives me any error. So I am declaring two variables with the same name again and again. So it never gives you any error. So all these things are being handled here in strict mode. So it indicates that the code should be executed in strict mode. So that since JavaScript is a loosely written language, that's where this concept of strict mode came, that we can restrict the way we want to run the JavaScript. So it is always declared at the beginning of the script or the function. From here we can understand either it's going to be a global scope or the local scope. So with strict mode, you cannot use undeclared variable. Let's say I never declared a variable. Let's say I just initialized the variable and used it. So it never gives me an error. It works fine. But in strict mode, you cannot do that. Strict mode makes it easier to write secure JavaScript. Definitely, if you are restricting your JavaScript to work in a particular manner, definitely it is going to make your JavaScript secure. And it gives error as a feedback. If even if you're having parameters, if you're trying to duplicate the parameters, there also it gives you error or a feedback. So it gives you either a feedback or an error in the console, that even if you're trying to duplicate the parameters, or if you're trying to use the reserved keywords as the variable name in JavaScript, in all these cases you will get the error. So let's see how we can include strict mode in our code. So here I have my HTML file and my JS file. So firstly, let's declare. So you write in string use strict. That's it. So this is a global declaration for now. We can do it in two places, either global or either local. So let's say I'm assigning a value a equal to 10 over here, and I'm doing console.log of a. Let me just comment the very first thing. This. Now if I execute this, part, if I go to inspect, here I can see a equal to 10, which is correct. Now at the same time, let me execute this in strict mode and see that I've not declared the variable. I've never used var here. It is just initialization and using the variable. Here you will get a error, reference error, a is not defined. So you are making sure that all the variable has to be declared before they are being used. So here let me just write cannot use undeclared variables. So here I'm going to write reserved keyword, because we are going to see that you cannot use reserved keywords like var. Let is also a reserved keyword in JavaScript. So if I write something like this, console.log of let. So let's say I'm using it without strict mode. In that case, you will get Elena. But at the same time, if I'm writing this in strict mode, then I will get error. The reserved keywords cannot be used in strict mode. Now, we are not allowed to duplicate the parameter name. Let's say I have a function add over here. Here I'm going to say add, and here I'm going to pass, let's say 3, 4. So here I will receive these 3 and 4 as parameters. So I will say a, let's say a. So without strict mode, if I'm trying to duplicate this, console.log of a plus a. So what it will do, it will take the latest value of a in both the cases, which is going to be 4. So I will get 8 as the result. But now let me just use strict mode. So in this case, you will get error. Duplicate parameter name not allowed in this context. That means you cannot duplicate this. So because of strict mode, you are able to achieve this. Now, next we have, let's say I have a strict mode inside the function. So let me just write it inside a function. Let's say function sub, and here I'm writing the strict mode. Now strict mode is not here. I'm going to copy the same strict mode inside this over here. Now if I'm trying to do, let's say, b equal to 20 and then trying to console the value of b without declaring, if you see here I have not declared any value, just assigning and using it, and I'm calling this method sub, let's say. So it is in strict mode, so you will get a b is not defined. Now, so here you will get b is not defined. If I remove this, this is local. Now it is going to give me 20. So this is how it works in local. Now, let's say I'm trying to assign a value to a non-primitive data type. Let's say P120, it's object basically. Let's say P20 and Q is going to be, let's say, 40. And here if I'm trying to do console.log of X, this is commented, so I will get the output. If I try to see this in use strict, I will get the error because X is not defined. Because here if you see I've assigned the value, but variable is not declared. So even if it's primitive, non-primitive, doesn't matter, variable has to be declared if you're writing in strict mode. Definitely we don't use strict everywhere, because there are some places we might end up writing is something and where we definitely don't want. So we have to be very selective where we need this use strict. And definitely if you need use strict inside a function, then use it there. Then don't declare it globally. And if you think you need it globally, then use it globally. So this is how we can make our JavaScript secure by using this strict mode. So this is what we have in Hoisting and strict mode. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share my channel. Do share it with your friends, family, aspiring developers and any working professional who want to hone their skills in front-end development. And do check out my interview preparation material. You can come to my YouTube channel, see the videos for free, and you can definitely prepare for interviews at a minimal cost using my interview preparation material. I've added the description below, so do check that out. And thank you so much for watching my videos.